Hi, and welcome to the Health Begins with Mom show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host. On this podcast, I will share insights and interviews on health, parenting, and explore the question of what does it take to thrive as women, wives, and mothers. Now, let's get going with today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Health Begins with Mom podcast. This is Dorit Palvanov, your host. If you're listening in real time, this week I am celebrating my 35th birthday. Yay! So I thought, why not do a birthday episode and talk about 5 major lessons I've learned from my 35 years living on this planet. So I pulled out all my journals and notes and brainstormed some more, and my intention with this episode is to be fully transparent, even if it's embarrassing, and it was embarrassing. So you can hopefully learn from my experiences. Maybe some of the lessons I've learned will resonate with you and will help you sort through some of your own stuff, or maybe not, and that's okay. Either way, thank you so much for listening. All of the references I will be talking about today can be found over at the show notes on my website, www.healthbeginswithmom.com/EP-78. Please remember also to subscribe to the Health Begins with Mom podcast. And if you have a minute, I would love for you to leave a rating or a review for the show. In fact, this would be an awesome birthday gift. So thank you so much in advance. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive in. So like I mentioned, this week on October 19th, I am celebrating my 35th birthday. And I thought it would be so cool to go back in time and acknowledge the life experiences that helped me to become who I am today. So I know I still have a lot to learn and polish, but nevertheless, the past 35 years has been a heck of a ride. And I think as an adult woman in her mid-30s, it's a great exercise to learn from my mistakes and share what I've learned with other moms. So I have a kind of weird relationship with birthdays. When I was younger, I loved celebrating my birthday and I waited anxiously for that day. You know, this was the best day of the year, as I was the richest on that day. Because I remember as a child, all of my aunts and uncles would give me money. And I was so happy to go to the store and buy myself something that I wanted but couldn't afford all year. For this reason, I loved having a large family. And then something weird happened. I got married, and my husband, being the humble and reserved guy that he is not so much into celebrating birthdays. In his family, they usually get together for a meal. Things are kind of like modest. They raise a toast, and that's about it. So this year, I'm going to work on being intentional about honoring my day and finding my own way to celebrate my life. Because it's important, right? All right, so let's start with lesson number 1. Trust your intuition. Every major decision I have made in my life was driven by this voice. Here are some examples. I grew up in Israel from the age of 6 to 21. Up until 6, I lived in the former USSR area of Russia. And after that, my parents decided to come to Israel. When I was 17 years old, I started dating a guy that I knew deep down inside was not right for me. Okay? My young and teenager self, of course, denied it, but deep down, I always knew he is not right for me. So when he proposed to me, although I hesitated, it just felt wrong, and I said no, and I'm so grateful that I said no. A month later, my dad had received his papers to come to Canada, and we've left to Canada. This was another, I think, big thing that I just knew was right for me, as my soul was slowly dying in Israel. And although I love this country, I love my country, it just, I don't know, it just, I didn't feel like I am, like I belong there. And I truly believe that I have manifested this move through my dad, and thankfully my whole family is here with me as a result. This move helped me to get over this guy, and although it was heartbreaking at the time, guys, it was really bad, I knew it had to be done. The breakup literally felt like I'm getting over an addiction, and I felt like I'm cleansing after a major and serious drug addiction. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that. It was terrible, but it had to be done, and I'm so glad that I'm over him. 2 years later, I meet this guy who is a complete opposite to my ex. He's calm, he's solid, he's grounded, he's confident, he's successful, and he's so much more handsome. This guy today is my husband and the father of our daughters. I'm not sure I've told this story here before or not, but this experience was also totally driven by my intuition, as I just knew he is going to be my husband. And after the first date, it just felt so right. And later on, my intuitive force led me to calling in my 3 girls, all at the right time for me. All of our daughters, by the way, were planned by me. And I'm so grateful for my husband for never pushing or rushing me with this. Although I know that he would like to have more kids, after the 3rd baby, I felt like I'm done. And again, this is always led with this voice, this intuitive force within me that is almost like it's teaching me to trust life, to trust myself, to trust the evolution of my life, and to just know that it's going to be okay and I'm going to survive this, whatever it is that I'm going through. This guiding force had led me to explore and be curious about holistic health, and it also led me to hire a coach who've shown me what's possible, and she encouraged me to pursue my dream of working with moms and help them heal holistically, right? All of this stuff has been driven by this voice, by this power that all of us have. We all have this powerful voice within us. This is our compass and our internal GPS system. I so wish I knew more about this powerful force, and I wish my mom could expose me more to this. But of course, I can't blame her for something that she herself didn't know, which is why I'm committed to learning and sharing this powerful gift with my girls and my clients. So that's lesson number 1. Definitely trusting your trusting your guts, trusting your intuition. Lesson number 2, motherhood is hard and so humbling. Up until becoming a mom, I thought literally that I can do anything. I was absolutely convinced that I'm going to rock at motherhood and it's going to be great. After my first baby was born, you know what was the first thing I've done when we came back home from the hospital? I cleaned my house and I did the laundry. So silly of me. I rejected all help. I caved in and I isolated myself from pretty much everyone. You won't believe this, but this year is actually the first year after having kids that I started walking around with my phone not on silent. I was so consumed with doing things my way, and if it's not, then I'd get really, really upset. Anyone else who's experienced mommy tantrums knows what I mean, right? I had so many mommy tantrums. And looking back, I now realize that I was still maturing. I was still adulting, and I was still learning about myself and who I am in this world, right? So this process of self-discovery, this process of individuating from who I think I should be to who I really am and allowing her to blossom. This is one of the reasons I love motherhood so much, as this is the best personal development school we will ever have. Like my coach says, parenting is personal growth on steroids. Want it or not, you will grow, especially if you want to do a good job as a mom, like I do. Motherhood helped me to become less self-absorbed, less egoistic, less impulsive, and more than anything, to slow down. My natural inclination is to zoom through things and do everything as fast as I can. And becoming a mom is teaching me day in and day out to slow down, to pause, and to focus. So many times I just want to get them out the door, to be on time for school, or to put them to bed as soon as possible so that I have time for myself. Or I'd rush to do all the logistics like keeping them fed, clean, and organized, only to see that they are humans and they need an adult to show them the way and lead them in this life. And I am that adult. I have chosen to be a mom. So I had to get my act together and show up for my girls, right? And I'm sure if you feel like me, you can totally resonate. I am still evolving here, but I'm so proud of myself for really showing up for myself, for my girls, and what I'm creating in the world. And again, this is a choice. So please make the right one, because no one else can do this for you. Lesson number 3. Every one of my kids will trigger that which I needed to heal. And what does this mean? My oldest daughter, for example, has a very high emotional intelligence. Which means that she is very articulate in how she feels, and she can put her feelings and emotions into words beautifully. And we've noticed that since a very young age. She is a born communicator, but she also has a victim mentality, a tendency to blame others, not to take responsibility for her own actions, and she's struggling with doing hard things. My middle daughter, for example, is bright and she's very smart academically, but she is struggling a lot with patience, self-control, self-regulation. She's not great at communicating her needs, although she's very highly intuitive and sensitive to her surroundings. She just doesn't know how to articulate that which she feels. She has a tendency to anxiety and she's frantic in so many ways. And then my little one, she's still too young to show her true personality, but her recent hip surgery and all that came after that was such a huge wake-up call for me. I was so naive to believe that we can go right back to our lives as though nothing happened. Boy, was I wrong. Every day is a new challenge with her, and I'm still learning how to help her heal physically and emotionally. Guess what? All the challenges my girls are going through are mine as well. In fact, the reason I see these challenges is because we project our own soul sparks on them, and they mirror them back to us. So through helping my girls get over their challenges, I am actually helping myself and proving to myself what I am actually capable of. Like Dr. Shefali, the author of The Conscious Parent, says, raising our children is our opportunity to heal our own wounds and raise ourselves. When we parent, we are learning to parent and mother ourselves, which took me such a long time to get. All right? And then lesson number 4. I am not a superwoman. I am not. Even though sometimes I'm really tempted to think that I'm invincible and I can do it all, no, I can't. Wow, that was a big one for me. Like I said earlier, motherhood is incredibly humbling, and I realized very quickly that I cannot do this alone. They say that it takes a village to raise a child, which is true, But it also takes a village to raise a mom. That young woman who is going through so many changes all at once, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Very, very quickly, I realized that I have so much responsibility on my hands, something I didn't have loads of prior to becoming a mom. I pretty much only had myself to worry about, right? The burnout, the exhaustion, fatigue, the resentment, the fear, the anger, the regret, and other dark feelings were knocking on my door every single day. I remember myself as a very happy and joyful girl. So whatever was going on didn't feel right, and it didn't feel like I'm using my gifts and talents wisely. I had a soul ache to build a successful coaching career, doing something I love, which is leading mothers to take care of themselves, to balance their hormones, to heal their bodies, to stop feeling like there's no time for them, like they don't matter. I want them to stop feeling guilty for choosing themselves, to get out of their own way, to lead their families with intention and show them that in this life, anything is possible. I've always revered the female body, and I truly believe that as women, we are divine beings. But first, I had to go through the difficult moments of the dark night of the soul, emerge out from there, and then show others how to do the same, which is exactly what happened. This was an opportunity for me to tap into being more resourceful and creative about how I make this dream of mine a reality. But that wasn't an easy task to accomplish. It still isn't. If you're a mompreneur, you know what I mean. Being a mom who values family, closeness, being present, and nurture my home as an incubator to prevent future hurts and wounds as much as possible, it's not an easy task while also building a successful business. So I had to make a very important choice. I had to lean on my husband financially in the beginning so that I can do what I'm called to do with and for our kids. And with time, as I felt like I'm getting out of the minutia of daily life, the diapers, the wiping asses, the constant feeding, the cleaning and tidying up, I had to be uber intentional and deliberate about how I'm using my time. So first thing, we've decided to put our kids in childcare so that I can free up some of my own time to work on my dream. Then I had to learn to delegate. Delegate like a boss. I had to figure out all the things that needed to be done around the house and see which were the things that only I can do and which tasks could be easily outsourced. First thing for me was cleaning. I like to have a clean house, but I hate cleaning it. It is so time consuming, and it also sucks the life out of me. Yes, it costs money, but honestly, it is not as expensive as I thought that it was. So I found a young girl who cleans my house every other week. She also irons our clothes, not all of them, especially my kids' dresses, and she also does the laundry. Okay? I also had to learn how to ask for help and involve family members and friends in taking care of our kids. This was a hard one because asking for help is often perceived as shameful and embarrassing because I'm supposed to do it all, right? Just like our moms did. As though asking for help means admitting that I'm failing or not succeeding somehow. Well, this is just a gigantic lie I was telling myself. So I had to reframe what help means in my head. And now I believe that help is allowing other people to tap into the goodness of their heart. Helping someone else means serving God. By me asking for help, I give opportunities to other people to support a young family who otherwise would struggle. The parents would fight constantly and the children would grow up wounded. And I'm not willing to risk that. So I had to step out of my comfort zone and ask. I asked for people to help me with meal trains, watch my kids, take them for a walk, watch them while I was on a call with a client for a couple of hours, while I went to exercise and move my body, take care of myself, while I went out to get a facial or do my nails. Yes, because I want to feel like I'm human and I wanted to feel feminine. And I refuse to believe that I can do it all by myself. I mean, I could, but why would I? I think that leaning on people is a much more sustainable way to live. And also, I want my girls to see that they are surrounded by other women, by other mothers, by other grandmothers, aunts, and friends, as we all need each other. This also pushes me to give to my community back, right? Because this is how reciprocity works. So if you feel like you are too proud to ask for help, please stop. Vulnerability connects people, whereas shame, fear, and judgment separates people from one another. And as you know, we need each other. So when you need help, reach your hand out and ask. Just ask. And then the last lesson is sustainable motherhood, all about radical self-care, taking of myself radically. So I feel like my life truly started after I became a mom. Before that, I didn't really struggle. In fact, like I said, I felt like I was successful in most things that I've done. I thought that I'm really good at taking care of myself and making magic happen until I became a mom. If you're a mom, you know what I mean. Having little people who are dependent on you 24/7 is draining emotionally, physically, and mentally. After baby number 2, I've basically entered into crisis mode, also known as survival mode. Sleep, food, rest, fun, intimacy, girlfriends, sexy body, and all the things that I identified with were taken away from me. That's a lie, because I wasn't prepared for the shock and serious burnout that follows. I have made a choice to put myself last. What a mistake. This made me so miserable. It made me so negative, bitter, and not fun to be around. My husband felt it, my kids felt it, and worse than anything, I knew it too, because I didn't recognize myself. I had a major identity crisis, not knowing who I am anymore. One day, I looked in the mirror and I asked the woman I was looking at, "Who are you? What do you want? What is your soul asking for?" And as a conscious mama, I decided to make a choice and put myself first. I come before anyone else because if I don't, everyone around me suffer. Putting yourself first doesn't mean you are neglecting your responsibilities. All this means is that I have done a conscious and deliberate effort to show up and radically take care of myself. For years, I've been struggling with finding a sustainable eating plan that will work for me and my mommy life. I've tried so many different diets, the paleo, vegan, vegetarian, keto, intermittent fasting, you name it, I've tried it all. None of them were sustainable for me as a woman and as a mother because my kids wouldn't eat that. This led me to learn more about how to feed myself as a woman, how to support my hormones, and how to live in alignment with my cyclical rhythm, which is what I teach my ladies inside of the Health Begins with Mom Mastery. This stuff has changed my life radically. Not only do I feel better, healthier, and more vibrant, but I've been able to strengthen my relationship with my husband and kids as a result. As mothers, we are the sun, and everything in our homes revolves around us. We create an ecosystem in our homes. So taking care of yourself is not luxurious or indulgent. It is intelligent, it is smart, and it's life-changing. Investing in myself always gives me the highest returns on investment. Like investing in coaching, in books, in programs, in masterminds, like surrounding myself with like-minded people, and so on and so forth. So I'm encouraging you to learn from this lesson of mine and do the same for you. And there you have it, my 5 biggest lessons I've learned in my 35 years living on this planet. Of course, there are so many more lessons, but I feel like these ones are the most profound in terms of how I've changed as a result of owning the lesson and making the best of it. I hope this has been helpful to you, and if you resonate with anything I've shared today, let me know. Please connect with me on Facebook or on Instagram. I go under @DoritPalvinov. And the biggest gift that you can give me on my birthday is to share the show. Tell other moms in your community about this podcast, or maybe share a particular show that you resonate with. My mission is to rise mothers and show them their power as healers and leaders. The health of the world begins with us, moms, taking the stand for us and our families. So let's heal the world, one mom at a time. And if you do leave the review and you will leave ratings, then iTunes will bump up the show and will help more women, more mothers see it in their feed. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for spending the time with me. Thank you for everything that you do for me, for my life, in my life. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for listening. I am so, so grateful for you and for everything that you bring to my life. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love and healing. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Health Begins with Mom show. I love hearing from you, so please post your comments and questions over at healthbeginswithmom.com/podcast. If you love the show, please share it on social media and in your real life with other moms who might enjoy this content. And if you have a burning question or topic you'd like me to hit on the show, just drop me a line at dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com. And if you love this show and really want to support it, please go to iTunes, write a review, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Much love and many blessings.